Good morning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 13th episode of the most entertaining podcast. I'm your host for this episode, Chaimberlain Bauder. Joining me today is Aanu, our producer and creator of the show. And as we get into things, Aanu, how's it going on this beautiful Sunday as we really get into the beginning of that season?
Yeah, fantastic. How are you?
I'm thriving right now. It's been a nice chill weekend for me with like work wise. As someone who broadcasts for colleges, I get one more day off pretty much before my and Saturdays really start to ramp up. So it's been nice so far. Before
Yes.
we get into our topic for this week, Anu, which is going to be the top 5 left wingers in the Premier League, I figured we should get into our fan question first, sent by Aanu. So, who are our picks for the two of us, at least, for manager of the year this season in the Premier League? And I will go to you first because I think if anyone has seen me talk on this show before, there's a very likely place where I'll go.
Yeah, so for me, the manager of the year is probably going to be Regis Lebris at Sunderland, actually. Because I think just from the first 3 games, I've been super impressed by them. I think they managed to get 6 points from a possible 9, right? So I think just the fact that they might actually stay up this season, yeah, him.
I feel like it's always the relegation battle can't when we have teams that are so consistently good in the Premier League the way that the top teams are. I feel like we're at a point where the manager of the year award makes sense to go to someone that saves their team from relegation versus that winning and topping other impressive teams. Um, and honestly, my pick could be in that same boat, could also be in the boat of 8th place in the league. And if they're in 8th place in the league, I think they're honestly definitely manager of the year. And that's for me, it's Ruben Amorim. But, but it's solely if they can do what he tries to do, right? And I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I won't get into it too much, but we've had this battle every year, and now Twitter is. I mean, I was on Twitter when I had my podcast episode the other day, and Ten Hag was trending on Twitter. Like just and all it was
So, um, apparently he might be getting fired today.
so interesting, good to know. But the reason he was trending at the time was solely in reference to is the same thing that happened to Solskjaer that happened to Ten Hag gonna happen to Amorim. And it's just like it's crazy that the United fan base is big enough that it can trend that way. But I personally like some of his tactician aspects of what he does. I know a lot of people don't, but I think if he can actually put what he has on paper onto a turf, it's a completely different story. But that would be my pick. And now, without further ado, we will get into our top 5 left wingers of the Premier League season going into this year. Now, let's preface it anew. We might be the only group that's actually going to do top 5 just left wingers. Everybody else that saw this opportunity to do a list like this said, well, my top 3 choices are all right wingers, so I'm actually going to just make a top 10 wingers list, which has been very interesting. And of course, in a world where left forwards and right forwards become more and more relevant, the question of are they a winger comes more and more into play. So I think I should just preface for both of us before we get into some quick we'll hit the list, and then at the end we'll do an honorable mention of someone that we don't think makes the same sense to be in the 5, but could be in that conversation of up and coming in this next year. But think the true they operate the left side of the field, right? And they create from that area. If they get shifted to striker every once in a while, it's not the end of the world. If they're both footed and they play right winger sometimes, there's still also a left winger. So with that set and prefaced, Anu, I'll send it to you for your 5th best left winger in the Premier League.
So for me, for this spot, probably going to be Pedro Neto from Chelsea. And it's not from a question of talent, it's more of a question of fitness, actually, because last season was the first time he got over 2,000 league minutes since 2021, so for like the past 4 years. And he managed to get 6 goals, 4 assists, or sorry, 4 goals, 6 assists, rather. So I think he's just someone who's like super direct, super powerful shot, super powerful runner, has the wherewithal to be his man as well. So I think just for those three reasons, especially, and I think if he manages to stay fit for this season too, he'll probably go from being top five to maybe top three.
That's kind of the conversation area for my fifth pick as well. In that I mean, they always say it, right? The best ability is availability, and that's it's important, but also in the world of football, you know, the potential is always so important. And when you have a player under the age of 25, that can outweigh availability in a lot of conversations. And so that's why my fifth pick is Gabriel Martinelli from Arsenal. A team where the rich keep getting richer this year. It just like that offensively,
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
his out his expected work output now is less. So the opportunity for him to kind of thrive on a lower workload, maybe potentially, I think is there. But at the same time, in what you said, if you get minutes, you move up. But if you don't and you lose that availability in a crucial year at the age of 24, I think if the minutes don't come for Martinelli now, it's a very steep slope that he could hit. There's fifth for us, and we keep it right on moving. Aanu, who you got in the fourth spot?
Okay. So for my fourth spot is Mr. Alex Iwobi, actually, the most underrated player in the Premier League. Someone who's played 2,000 plus league minutes in four of the last five seasons, 15 goal involvements last season. Someone who has a fantastic first touch, fantastic vision, has, I think, 296 Premier League appearances, so he's pretty close to the 300 club, obviously. So, yeah, super underrated. So, my pick for fourth is fun.
I like that. You and I are definitely on different wavelengths. I feel like mine are guys that are growing right now, and your minutes, which I love, because in my mind, I'm thinking of potential a lot, and you're like, who's been there, who's in it, which I won't lie, I love. I feel like I'm gonna butcher his first name so badly right now, but Kairu Mitoma from
Yeah,
Brighton, the
yes,
winger,
yes, that's
is
perfect.
14 goal involvements this year, 11 goals, 3 assists from last year. The thing that has been changing for him, obviously the dribbling was always consistent, but he's become more lethal in that final third and inside of the 18. And I think that's just when you see those guys that are consistently going up, I feel like might epitomize my list personally. As I go through this, just he has that constant potential, and there's no worry about the minutes and time that he's getting in with those guys. He's just young. All right, we keep it moving. We go to number 3, and I won't lie. So I have my list written in like a very small 5 down here on my sheet of paper. They're not in my actual order off of like what my order is for them. So as I get to my final 3, I'm kind of like hedging a little bit. But Aanu, to you for your number 3 pick on the best left wingers in the Premier League.
For this spot, I'm going to go with Mr. Semenya, actually, from Bournemouth. He's somebody who has had a breakout season last season, especially. He's the only player in my top five who played 3,000 minutes last season. So he's always fit. He's always fit. He's a fantastic dribbler as well. Phenomenal finisher, super direct, can play with his left foot as well as his right foot as well. And I think for me, he got 16 goal involvements last season, 10 the season before. And I just think that next season he'll probably get a big move.
Yeah, I love that pick a lot. I love that pick a lot. And it's kind of like where I'm dancing with my own biases on whether or not I can put the person that I want to put one or not on this list, because I love who I want to put number 1, and I think I might have just talked myself into it. But so I think the conversation for me between 2 and 3 is the same conversation we've already been having here in the last 10 minutes. Is it's availability versus potential, and straight up monster ability. And for that same reason, as to why I had my 5 and my 4 where they are instead of up higher, I think I'm going to put Cody Gakpo here at 3. And I honestly, like, 22 games last year is not what anybody wanted him to have, but he had 11 goal involvements in 22 games. Like, it's crazy. The output is stupid. So I think, yeah, we'll put him right there and keep your eyes peeled for Semenyo to be popping back up here maybe in a minute. Take it away, Aanu.
So for this spot, Mr. Matoma. Mr. Matoma is my pick for number 2. The best dribbler in the Premier League, in my opinion. Proper winger. I think the part of his traits that a lot of people don't see is like his movement off the ball. I think that's how he gets like 75% of his goals is through that. Because I think most of the time people think it's through how he manages to like beat the players in front of him, right? And no, a lot of the time how he scores goals is through his movements off the ball. He's somebody who, excuse me one moment while I pull this up. He's someone who had 14 goal involvements in 2,000 plus minutes this season, 6 versus the big teams as well. So he's somebody who shows up versus the small sides as well as the big teams too. He had 7 goal involvements the season before, but that's because he had like a broken hip or something like that. So he's somebody who's like super consistent, super hardworking as well. And regarding the dribbling aspect of things, I'm still like waiting to see somebody in his spot who can do what he does. So that's why he's my number 2 pick.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. I mean, when you have players that have that freakish ability, right? Or not even freakish ability, because like I feel like dribbling isn't necessarily one that you would use the word freakish for, but he kind of makes it that way.
So how he actually learned how to dribble is actually he went to college for it. So that was his thesis actually. So yeah.
That's so as someone who made their senior thesis about lacrosse, I love that. That's awesome. That is really sweet. That's sick. I mean, yeah, I guess it shows, right? Honestly. All right, my second pick, I am going with Antoine Semenyo here. I mean, for really all the same reasons that you just listed before, right? It's consistently getting better year after year. 16 goal involvements last year. The minutes are through the roof. Like he is the face of consistency for this squad on that spot. So I just we won't hamper it too much. You hit all of the points that needed to get hit earlier on as we kind of took that one away. But with that said, so Semenyo and Matoma, a little bit of a recycling on both of our lists here as we get into the second spot. And just taking a quick look back as we see it, names that have been mentioned so far. I had Martinelli. I also had Cody Gakpo get mentioned. We had Neto. Who's your 4 pick again, Aanu?
My 4th pick, Mr. Alex Iwobi.
Oh, Iwobi, right. Yes. Now we move into our number 1 selections for the best left winger in the Premier League. And now I'm going to be honest with you, Aanu, I feel like your pick is going to be more important to hear than my pick. So I am going to go first with my number 1 selection, but I'm also going to let myself be backed up by stats because I don't want to sound weak in my convictions here as we get.
Stop, bro.
So my number 1 pick for the best left winger in the Premier League going into this season is Anthony Elanga. Okay, so first of all, let's clarify that I think assists are way harder to get than goals in this sport, period. And he had 11 assists last year. He's also the best 2-footed winger probably in the Premier League right now when it comes to just ability on either foot and ability to shift from either side. Now, with that, here's the other thing that is one of these kind of aspects for me when I talk about wingers and what I like to see and whatnot. Sorry, ESPN is really being uncooperative with me trying to pull up these stats. There we go. Last year it was 6 goals and 12 assists. He had one more assist than what I had thought it was. I thought it was 11. But 18 goal involvements and 12 of those being dependent on other people finishing your passes, which means how many more of those opportunities did you really create for your team? And then also on top of that, for me personally, a winger who can actively switch sides in the midst of play is just more dangerous than anybody else. And yes, a lot of these guys can move up to striker and be a left striker and then move back to left winger. But when you can actively just switch wings and completely change a game in that way, I just think that it's another level of game that you can add. And I love it. And I am definitely biased as someone who doesn't think that Manchester United should have ever gotten rid of Anthony Lenga. But that is my pick for number 1, 18 goal involvements. I will say, as I say it, I see your face and I feel a little crazy saying it, but no other player on this list had 18 goal involvements last year.
Yeah. Yes. Very true.
Take it away, Aanu.
So to be honest, I actually didn't put him on the left because I know sometimes Hudson-Odoi played there for Forest and then he like played off the right. So that was like the main reason why I actually hadn't placed him on my left wingers list, is not because I like don't think he's of the level or anything like that. It was just more, I guess, a misprofiling on my part, maybe.
I think we both
So
mutually misprofile. Let's be honest.
Fez. My first place pick is gonna be Mr. Cody Gakpo, actually, and it's just because of the number of goal involvements from like the limited minutes, right? He's never played 2,000 league minutes, and he still managed to get 14 last season and 13 the season before, excuse me. And I think 5 or 6 came versus the big teams as well. So I think the reason he's like slightly underrated is because he's not as aesthetically pleasing as a lot of people like their wingers to be. He's like a lot more efficient than he is like silky or anything like that. And I think unfortunately these days people seem to have gone back to like the eye test. So when the people who care actually tend to look at the numbers, he needs to be top spot.
I completely hear what you're saying. The other thing too that you didn't even add into that, it is 6 goals against big teams, but it's also game winners and game tires late in games that he's scoring, which are even more impressive. And when you talk about the eye test, you're 100% right. You look at him and you go, "Oh, cool, in number 10." Like you just assume that when you look at the way that he runs, even. Like, I mean, he is built like that too. I love that pick, honestly, and I completely hear you on not taking Alenga on this list because of that. And the thing too, like, I mean, literally, think about it. Cody Gakpo and Kairu Matoma had the same number of goal involvements last year. Like, that's
bro, exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like, yeah, no, totally makes sense that he would be up there. And the thing is now, I mean, I guess the question is just, is he going to be on the left wing? Like, is Liverpool going to have enough consistency in the center of the field that he will be playing left wing this year? And then will he be a problem for them with their consistency because of his availability?
So I think he will play off the left because I think he was like misprofiled by Klopp. Because I know like with Klopp, he like played as like an 8, and then he played as like a striker sometimes, and yeah, like it was so weird. But I think when he played at the Euros is when people finally knew what his favorite spot was. And when Slack came in, who's from the same place as him, obviously, so he knows exactly how to play him. So I think he will play off the left this season. Yeah.
Sweet. I love it. That's our 5s, both of them made and listed. The honorable mention pick, though, quick, we'll hit it real quick. I will be very fast with this, and everyone might be over my antics already, but through watching preseason this summer, am excited by the prospect of Patrick Dorgu. I just think, and there's nothing statistically to back up what I'm saying right now whatsoever. But I think from an eye test of watching how he played the position of left wing back for Amorim in the preseason, he made all of the right decisions. He put the ball into places where other players on his team could not. He worked himself into positions overlapping at times that other players had not at any time. The only thing that held him back in the preseason was the fact that the person he was putting the ball into was Rasmus Højlund. So, like, literally, I watched him have 3 assists that weren't assists because he passed the ball to Rasmus Højlund and he was on the edge of the 18 and he did not know what to do with it. But I'm excited by the prospect of those young wingbacks. I love the position of a wingback if it's played correctly and if it's played offensively enough. And based on the look of what Amorim does with it being asymmetrical, anytime Diogo Dalot is out there as the right wing back, Patrick Dorgu is going to have a chance to go on that left side, and that's sweet to me. So that is my honorable mention.
So for the Dogu pick, while I would agree normally, I think the problem is now a lot of people see him more as like a left back, though he is a lot more of a winger, by the way. He's a lot more of a winger.
Yes,
But
100%.
unfortunately, because he's playing as a wing back now, a lot of people see him as a fullback. So he might need to leave at some point in time. No, straight up though, because as long as he's playing for Man United, he's never playing on that left wing, bro. Ever.
But they don't even have a left wing right now. There isn't a left wing position on the United.
I know, but
Mason Mount is playing in the spot right now.
Say like you should happen to change your manager. The new guy, he's not playing this guy off the left, bro. No,
true, very true. What's your pick for your? Who should everyone be watching for this season?
The person who scored the winner in the Europa League final, Mr. Brennan Johnson. End of story.
All right, fair enough. And I feel like that was a perfect segue for us right there into this next conversation that we're going to have, which is our Champions League, Europa League, and conference winners. Starting out with our Champions League as we get into this year, Aanu. Set us up a little bit for the Champions League before you give me your pick.
So, to be honest, I actually missed the draw, to be fair. One of the few times that I've done so in the last few years. But I think it's because of like since they switched like the format and everything, I've like really lost like a slight amount of interest in the whole thing. Because forgive me for saying so, but I just think like the new format is a bit goofy. I think there was no problem with like the group stages or anything like that. Have no reason why they had to change things. I know it was more for like the money and all that, of course. But in terms of who I think will win, the favorites for me have to be Barca, just because of the quality of the squad as well as like the quality of the manager, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those spots where you're like, I feel like whenever it gets to Champions League, you're looking through and you're like, okay, did Bayern like randomly have a squad this year? Are they like ready to roll? Like that's what it felt like about 5 years ago now. PSG, where are they at? And then at the end of the day, can either of them stack up to Madrid or Barca?
Yeah. So
and usually they can't, right?
The main reason why I actually picked Barca was because I saw like their fixtures and it's super, super easy. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what, as I'm looking through it, like that's the aspect of it that when it's just the road that those two teams have to go on to get there, who gets punched in the face less, right? I feel like it ultimately breaks down that easily. You're putting me in a tough spot here. I don't want to make the same because it feels like the obvious one, right?
I know.
At this point, it really does feel like the obvious spot. Pots is so crazy. You're right. This new format is very absurd. Having it broken up instead of being draws like that.
So
like
stupid.
Groups.
So stupid.
Yeah, but I'm taking my time now because now I have to really think. Oh, here we go. We'll change it up. Give me Arsenal.
Bro. They can't even win when they're good, bro. Stop.
Yeah. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. History tells us that that will not be in the cards for them. But honestly, good lord, some of these pots, like Newcastle's going to be able to get out of their pot.
I
What?
know,
That's
bro.
crazy.
Nuts.
They're
Yeah.
gonna literally escape the first round of this tournament unscathed. But no, I mean it's the Champions League trophy is going to end up in Spain, Aanu. Let's be really
Yes.
honest.
Yes.
I think we can end that conversation for the Champions League winners right there, can't we? Now Europa, I feel like in the last couple of years has honestly been more fun just because we don't know every single year who it's going to end up being. And also the aspect of, yes, you win, but then you also get to get into the Champions League next year with winning is, I think, very enjoyable. It also is one of those things, you know, as an American in the March Madness mindset where you get your underdog stories that can consistently come through. The Europa League feels like the biggest European catalyst to that occurring during a year, aside from like the FA Cup. So, with that said,
for the Europa League winner, sorry, it seems as though you thought that it might be my turn to speak. So
you're good.
Yeah. So for my pick, I'm gonna go with Forest actually. I'm gonna go with Forest, and I looked at the teams in like the Europa League, and honestly, I wasn't that impressed by any of them. Maybe just Roma because of like the quality of their coach over there, but in terms of like squad quality, the quality of the manager, the strength of the league, yeah, has to be Forest for me.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna do like a finding a devil's advocate to that one because yeah, like there it really is like so. I guess that whole point of what I just said really, I feel like if you want to watch teams that you have no idea how good they will be,
Yes, bro. The perfect opposition is that.
I
Yes.
mean it in the best way possible. But no, I mean not Forest definitely feels like a that would be, but wouldn't it be crazy to think about Forest winning a European trophy like that?
To be fair, they have already won the Champions League twice in like the 70s and 80s, so they
Yeah,
do have like
we
the
talk about
history.
Liverpool like that too, though. You know?
Yes,
Yeah.
true that, true that. But the thing is, like, fans who like were there are like still here today. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. That would. I feel like. Yeah. No. You hit the nail on the head. It is an underwhelming set of teams in there.
Bro, speaking honestly, it still continues to irk me that like the Champions League teams can't like drop down anymore. It's the stupidest thing ever because the whole point is to make it significantly more fun to watch. So it's
Yeah.
like what?
Well, right. And it's this whole line of like, do they or should we allow teams in the Europa League to get beat out by a team that wasn't going to be in the Europa League at the beginning of
Yes, bro, because we've seen the product and it sucks. So yes.
the Fair enough. That is fair. Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with you on that 100% because it's also just like that's the point of having a group stage, right? The worst team in the group stage is so bad in the Champions League that they should be playing in the Europa League. Boom, go.
Yes.
Have fun. You got and the other thing too is we should be rewarding the teams that make the Champions League over teams that make the Europa League. So at the end of the day, you get dropped down, you lose your first game in European competition, you should still be able to play in European competition when you came third or fourth in your league. Like
Yeah.
versus a team that came sixth in your league that's now got a chance to go play for a trophy or whatever it may be.
Yes.
That's a good point. You just got me hot about that. I love it. So we're on the same page with Forest there, and now we shifted over to the conference where we talked about being underwhelmed before.
I mean, here, look, half these teams are semi-pro low key. Um, my pick for the Conference League is probably Palace, and I know it's a bit of a rogue shout since they seem to be losing all their best players, but just from like the quality of the competition, I really can't see them losing to anyone. Maybe just like Strasbourg from like Liga, because I know they actually have a fairly good coach as well there. So maybe Strasbourg for like the wild card pick, but for the main pick, yeah, has to be Palace.
Yeah, I honestly, I think just the way that that stacks as I look at it, that Strasbourg probably has a better chance when you look at Crystal Palace coming into it as clearly the team to beat in the conference league. Like they're clearly the squad that other teams are going to look at and go,
Oh yeah,
that's the one I'm
hundred
circling.
percent,
So
100%. And like
yeah,
it's like not even because it's Palace, it's more because it's like a Premier League team, right?
exactly. Yep,
Hmm.
exactly. And but exactly what you said, when they're losing their players and then you add that, and then it's just, it feels like one of those things where you could easily see them out in the second round of competition here. And
Oh
then
yeah,
all of a sudden we're like, oh, who's left in the conference league? Oh,
I know.
Strasbourg
So
randomly in the
it's
final. Okay.
bro, like it's so crazy. Like for example, the perfect team for this example is maybe Fiorentina, because I
Yep.
know they've been in like the conference league for like the past 3 4 seasons, and like they're like always super close to like the final, but they never win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're almost giving the like uh crud. Who was it that kept making the Europa final like every year for 4 years in a row from Spain?
Sounds like Sevilla or something.
It was Sevilla. Yeah, it was Sevilla.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, it's, I mean, that was, Fiorentina was definitely on my short list, like along, they're in the same exact boat as Strasbourg, right? Just Italian instead of French. Um but yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would go with Strasbourg just because I feel like Crystal Palace feels like they're gonna get punched in the mouth a lot.
I mean, 100%. Like speaking honestly, man, I feel so bad for like the gaffer over there because like he's like pretty much done everything he can do, really.
Yep. And guys just are walking away.
Literally, just
Uh
fucking going away, man. Damn.
oh, well, that sums it up for us. You've got Palace, I've got Strasbourg, and those are our conference league winners. And anything else before we wrap up here? I mean, just quickly, Kobe Mainu still asking for out of Manchester United, so that's fun. But anything
Yeah,
else
yeah.
as we get
I
into
mean, speaking on like the main thing quickly, I mean, obviously we had like the whole episode about it like maybe like 2 months ago now. So I'm not especially surprised, certainly not, but whether the club will let him go is like a whole other thing entirely. So I guess we'll see.
give me a short-term loan, that would make me happy, I think.
That is literally what we said. So yes.
Yeah. And I love being right too. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, yeah.
I like what, as a fan, I like keeping players. I also, as a sports reporter, love being right. I truly do. It is a
Yeah.
great one.
Yeah.
Anything else, Anu, before we wrap things up on this beautiful Sunday and get into some Premier League soccer in about a half an hour?
Not my guy. That's up.
All right, awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us. Like the video, please, and comment on any suggestions you agree or disagree with. Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified for our next episode, where we'll be discussing our top 5 candidates to win the Ballon d'Or this year. Have a great week, everyone.